Alright, hello to all my guys, gals, and non-binary pals out there across the electrical ocean. This is Jazzman, and we are back with a game between xVoddka X, playing Full Faction Forsaken Waste, versus Catstrophe on the Construct Splitteroonie between SL and IS. I was never a big fan of this particular split. I kind of prefer the SP version, where you just go like cheap, expendable constructs and then throw them at people. Crabs for days. Loosen them on the enemy. You got the mechanical crabs, you got the bolt case, the fire case, and then rusty fire case, and then the other guys, the tinkers who throw rusty fire cases. So you're basically giving your opponent an STD. I like the idea behind that, but Catstrophe here apparently does not. He's playing, I guess, like equip constructs. He has the rover, which no, he doesn't have pulse upgraded. But Vodka's on the liches. And this is in the new patch, so Eternal Lich, no longer sort of like a turret guy, he's more like, I guess, well-suited to death benefit, actually. And his normal role in Lich is Dark Favor, Grace of the Dead. And it seems like Vodka's gone with Afflict. I like Afflict, too. I think, I like the idea behind, oh, you get attacked, or I get attacked, you take damage, too. You know, that whole reciprocal sort of thing. I'm a big sharing is caring guy. So spread the love, spread the damage, that sort of thing. But Elder Vampiro here playing pretty aggressively into this front line, and then Robodog in the back is just going to get buffed out the ass. He's going to get 2 hits here, a hit here. I think he's just dead, isn't he? Assuming Chain Lightning is still available. I did join a few turns late, so just might have used the Chain Lightning before then. But if he has Chain Lightning available, this should be an easy kill. He's got 12... barrage? No barrage. Okay, so 24 here, and then the aura. You can drop, so Sacrifice Emerald is not on the attack chain or anything, so you can drop an aura 3 for some more damage. He will get life leeched, though, in the process, so he's going to have to play around the max HP gain. Didn't that used to be plus 8 max HP? Or no, it's 8 less of life. Okay, never mind. Maybe I'm just misremembering in my old age. He's going to leave the rover in the font, though. I mean, that's probably preferable to leaving the Guardian. I mean, I think Guardian is an interesting rune. I like running him in Acid, but in Constructs, I just feel like there's better frontliners. Like, Constructs really don't lack for a frontline. If you're running, like, Equip-style Constructs, you could get away with it because Provision is really nice, and then Aid Defense to buff everybody on top of that. But, so the Chain Lightning does come out, and then the dog with the 2 hits, not quite able to finish. Like, any spell will do. Like, he could have literally put down that emerald and gotten the kill with the aura, but it would have cost the Guardian, I guess. So maybe that wasn't the wisest choice. He could do a spell, but the problem here is that it'll just respawn at the pot, so you really don't want to invest Nora into killing that. I think Liches, even after they got the Lichling nerfs and some other, like the Bright Moon Lich nerfs, they're still a strong deck. Like, they're just not as overbearing. They don't have the same Nora curve as they did before. Like, you don't have to, like, you have to plan your deploys a lot more smartly now, because leverage is 80 Nora or less, or sorry, 80 Nora or more Lich Nora you deploy. So basically, you deploy a Lichling, and then it has to be another big guy to follow up, otherwise you just waste the proc. I saw some like discussion about whether it should be camaraderie instead, but I don't know. I think leverage in this iteration is probably fine. There hasn't been enough play with it thus far to determine whether that's an adequate nerf. I just think camaraderie is a little bit of a lazier fix than just, making leverage good, because there are some other leverage abilities that don't exist in the game but are technically in the database that we could maybe implement for some other themes that could potentially get, be useful with them. Like Fairy, there's Leverage Elemental, get some more of that going. But regardless, the Magnetic Rover here, up at 4 defense. How are you at 4 defense? I guess aid defense is going around. So he's going to get aided here. I mean, for 54 Nora, he's not that bad as a font contester. But here you definitely want to go in and drop the Aura 3. Just get that thing, like you need to get it out of the font. And the armory comes down. Like, you have to do it at some point. There's just no way around it. Like, the pot is going to be used unless you're running shit, what is that relic? Overload. Yeah, the unstable power source from SL that just does global damage to relics. I wouldn't expect it in this split particular because without, like, usually you run spell, like minimal on spells and just go heavy into equips and relics because Armory gives you a refund and all that. So if you run unstable power source, then you're hitting your own up relics, you're killing your Armory, but I think SL in particular is well suited to dealing with liches for that reason. But it looks like he is going to go in for the kill here. So down he goes, and he's back to the pot. And then, I mean, High Warlock is getting pretty buffed. The fact that Vodka is in this font is a little bit worrying for Catastrophe. Because, like, these guys, like, there's probably going to be another Eternal Lich at some point. Maybe a Cleric of Unrest with the pot summon. So this Bright Moon is going to go back, even if you kill it. Like, having a respawning unit in the font is just deadly in general. The Valdekai Guardian here is getting pretty buff, though. He's got the Granite Bracers for additional dodge. He's got a provision going. So, I mean, he's not, like, he's a pretty tough nut to crack, but I still think Vodka is going to come out ahead in this just because of the Nora disparity. Like, Catastrophe is spending more Nora on relics and equips than on champions, and his champions cannot his champions will lose in the attrition war versus liches. But everyone's taken a bit of aura damage here from the relic, and I think usually when I run Armory, I go with like a negative equip strategy with FW, and I run like Mind Shank, Elsarai Helm in the FW split, and I go with Wretched Witch and shit for basically an AP denial build. Anyone remember the old magnetic rover with pulse that halved AP gain in the AoE? Good times. And by good times, I mean times that I don't want to remember. DMR was a big proponent of that playstyle back when he was around. But I think Vodka can just sit back, right? With the Eternal Lich is really safe. He hasn't used Afflict yet. No real reason to at the moment, but like the Guardian with regen, you could get around that with. He doesn't have Cauterize on the Warlock, but I mean FW has a bunch of anti-healing. They got Tormented Priest, which is now a Lich, by the way. I think it only used to be a skeleton, but it was buffed with Phylactery Bound at some point, so you could actually deploy him and just spawn a pot as well. He has Dark Healing still. You could do Festering Wounds. I think Vodka likes to run Festering Wounds a lot, actually. So that's a potential counter to the regen. And what is that? Oh yeah, that's leverage. Okay, so Lichling comes in again. I wonder what he's going to follow up with for his next deploy. Maybe a Lich King, to be honest, or a Sirkin. Sirkin would be nice. I think Sirkin as an early game deploy is not really that great. It doesn't tend to do much before you get your other champions in the way to block for him, get your vengeful stacks going. But yeah, see, Tainted Statue in the back, I would not think Unstable Power Source to be an option here for Catastrophe. Yeah, Tainted Statue cuts into all the spells, and the games I saw previously of liches, where people like Reaper and Bobmon were running them, they really leaned into the favor angle on Dark Apprentice. So they were running a lot of cheap spells like Depths of Despair, Desecration, that kind of shit, just so that they could reap maximum benefit from the cheap spells, plus the favor, plus they're respawning like the super efficient Lichlings and respawning meat. So basically out-Noraing the opponent without casting a single Nora generation spell. And down goes that Guardian. Well, no, that was the Tinker. No, what just died there? Shit, I'm losing my way. Greaves, Dragonclaw. Wait a minute. Silver Clan equips Dragonclaw? That wasn't a reforge, was it? No, it couldn't have been. That's just a natural Dragonclaw so that it can hit at range. So down goes Bright Moon. Yeah, sorry, hit at melee, but that's an interesting tech choice for your. I never considered that, because like Dragonclaw is a pretty good equip for damage. Like you +4 at melee and then Eviscerated is another +3. So he's basically hitting for, and that's a 0 cooldown attack too. So it's basically, it's at +1 AP, but still like 0 cooldown for +7 damage essentially at melee range. So he can attack at melee now if he wants. I never really understood why it was 0 cooldown. I think it should be at least 1, maybe 2. But regardless, he can defend himself now versus the encroaching melee. And now Vodka's advance has kind of petered out. The alcohol is being flushed from his system, and he in his sober fugue, he's realizing that he's not in as good a position as he once thought. He hasn't made much progress here in mid either, to be honest. The regen plus aid defense. Aid defense on these things is pretty nutty now that I'm like, because it's a global ability, right? It's not like an AoE 5 like Defender or anything. So if the aid defense attacks from over here will affect this one as well. And then this one's attacks will affect this one, so you're basically defending your fonts like across the map. And FW is one of those factions, like they tend to have a counter for most things, but just flat defense in general, aside from Soul Strike, they don't really. Like they have no shred defense, aside from like 1 or 2 champions that don't really get run. They have no like strike. I think Crossbone is the only real strike champion in FW. And loss of life attacks do not get around defense, despite getting around other defensive abilities. So we got scale armor on the Veldakai Guardian for more defense. So basically it's getting +2 defense, 1 from provision, and then 1 from the armor, and then a bunch from aid defense. So the Lichling goes down, and man, these guys are looking very intimidating. They're 15 damage and 6 defense. So I mean, he's wait a second. Transfigure, bro. Why are you transfiguring? There's literally no reason for it. Like for the heal? Like come on, your guy has 7 defense. And he's abandoning the font too. Oh my god. Catastrophe. Come on. Don't be Shrine Master. I was not in the mood for a Shrine Master game today. I mean, in terms of play, that's probably smart. Like, you could maybe assume a Reaper's Blade to kill the Guardian, and then you'd lose a lot of the investment. But, I mean, you get your equipment Nora refunded, right? So, I don't know. He's putting the Rover in instead. I guess waiting for regen to make that Guardian healthier. And a Geomancer. Okay, Geomancer. I like seeing Geomancers, even in constructs. He's basically like an actual Geomancer now. He doesn't have... He has 7 speed, which, I don't know, is fine. I never really saw this guy as a particularly fast-moving champion, but it does let him use his abilities a lot more frequently. And he has some pretty damn good ones now. Like, he used to be just a Shockwave guy, but now he can actually, like, he can Tremor, he can Pulse, he can basically do something useful every single turn. And, you know, for 80 Nora, he has Terraform, so he can knock people back into lava. And usually I take Stone Skin Potion, but it seems like Immunity Fire is the flavor for today. A second Eternal Lich, and this one, yeah, he went with separate upgrades. I guess he's kind of experimenting, depending on, you know, kind of feeling out the new Eternal Lich, seeing what he wants out of the rune. Debilitate is still a pretty good debuff. Afflict, and Afflict is just nice defensively because as Eternal Lich tends to do, he sits in a font, gets him, you know, poke off, and then if you kill him, he respawns. But with Afflict, you basically have to kill him, take a bunch of damage yourself, and then he respawns, and you just do it all over again. So it's basically a lot of loss of life you can get out of him. But so the yeah, that was the cast. Well, it used to be cast repurpose, but I think that was the Ravish going down on that first Eternal Lich. And then Sirkin coming in for the Cone. So Cone does get around high defense. And then Invoke Life Leech does as well. So the Rover bites Zidusto. And is he going to throw the Lichling into the font again? That would probably be unwise. Okay, he's not going to do it. He realized the error of his ways. And yeah, so Bazaar on Sirkin is pretty strong because he already has Dictate and Shrine Exertion. So they both have the same cooldown of 2. So every 2 turns, Sirkin is going to get a boost of 4 AP, which is kind of nutty on a scaling champion like this. And so, like, you can just teleport in and then immediately double hit something, and then have enough AP to back out as well. But I think Catastrophe here, like, he's gonna heal up pretty well. I don't think he has the chance to cut it. Unless he gets like a massive shockwave off. I mean, the Elder Vampire is probably dead here, but other than that, like, he has no pot now that the Lich respawned over here. So that will be a permanently dead Elder Vampire. Yeah, because he's going to get a 15er, and I mean, I don't think that was worth it for xVoddka. Just killing the Rover, like, he's not going to gain control of the font for any meaningful turn. But, I mean, he did make the kill happen. I think any kill in this situation is maybe worth it, because Catastrophe transfigured, and your Forsaken Waste, you can outgrind with your cooldown bonus. So, and you know, Catastrophe can't really. So he's basically, xVoddka's, I would say, doing the right thing, trying to play into his strengths as a faction and as a deck. Because this Elder Vampire, like, xVoddka's going to be up in Nora, and he could probably just get it back in a few turns. And the problem is, I don't think he can hold this font. After the Vampire dies, what is he going to have here? Like, the Eternal Liches are pretty far away, they can't reinforce quickly. Sirkin hasn't properly scaled yet. And, I mean, these Guardians, like, fucking 6 defense, 17 damage, like, that's a terrifying-ass front line, man. And you gotta factor in the SL bonus on top of that, the half SL. So, like, Lichling isn't gonna be doing shit versus these guys because of block. And then, like, you don't have Cast Cauterized to counter the healing. Firebomb 2's kind of meh, even on, like, a 19 damage unit. Like, he's got some heavy hitters, but I would really like to see a Reaper's Blade go down on the on one of these Eternal Liches over here. That's pretty much his only hope at this point. Like, what else do you do versus this? I guess Shadow Shank maybe, but in Liches, you're not gonna have Shank. And then you gotta worry about the dog in the back getting buffed up and whatnot. Essence Drain, okay, so there's something. He's gonna get 2 hits. Oh, please no RD. Please no RD on the Veldakai. There's no way he would, though. That was like a 72 Nora Essence Drain because of the statue. So that's literally all of xVoddka's Nora this turn, going into that. I hope he gets the kill. I think he will, yeah. 15, so 12, and then Sirkin to finish. So expensive kill, but again, worth it, because every kill counts in this situation for xVoddka. Unless he gets the Globe, you should be fine with that. After getting the Globe, he should have the Nora for a deploy next turn to follow up. And he does still have the Liches lurking in the background. So once they start moving up, maybe you can even send them to harass the Protector away from mid-font while these guys clear things up. So, see here, the problem with the Geomancer deploy, in my opinion, is that, like, if you're trying to rely on Shockwave, xVoddka doesn't really have... Like, his champions are all going to be in the back, they're ranged, they're going to be spread out, and you're not going to get a good shockwave off. And Tremor is equally kind of useless versus these guys, because they all have bombs, they have cones, they can hit from melee if they have to, so the lumbering doesn't impede them very much, especially the Sirkin, because teleport, you know. But we'll see what else Catastrophe has up his sleeve. If xVoddka does run Reaper's Blade, you could maybe suss out a kill with the Sirkin, because, again, the burst of AP from Dictate plus Shrine Exertion, you can easily get a double tap for 60 damage on the Avatar. And then maybe, like, Mobi High Warlock to finish, but that would be an expensive Mobi with the statue. So it would all depend on how well xVoddka is managing his Nora. Would like to see at least one Debilitate hit from this Lich onto the dog. But from here, like, Catastrophe has to, like, he can easily kill the Lichling, but definitely, if he can get to Sirkin somehow, I don't think he can, though. Is there anything that gives, I guess he could DB, but, I mean, does he run DB with Statue? No. See, this is the thing with, when you're running the Tainted Statue, you can't run spells of your own, really, so you're locked into whatever relics and equips the factions have. And there's not much in the way of, like, immediate gain, like forward advance type of stuff that these factions have access to in that department. Like, you could run, I don't know, Like there's no like relocate ally relic or anything. Like in IS, you could maybe run Golden Compass is the closest thing. That's kind of bad. Yeah, in SL, it's all locked to their spell sets. But Dragon Engine, wow, he's running. I've not seen Dragon Engine in a hot minute. Dragon Engine has really fallen out of favor because like 15 Nora per turn is a hard ask when in a meta where rushing and early game is so important. I feel like this is sort of something that's been a problem with Pox for a while, is that like the early game play at least has pretty much been solved. Like there's really nothing else to theory craft about the early game in Pox that hasn't already been done. But the protector or the guardian goes down here to the ranged hits. Everybody in the bombs. He's even going with the Eternal Liches to help finish it off. And I mean, after that kill, like the Catastrophe is already in the Nora hole because he transfigured, and Dragon Engine is just going to put even more of a dent in that Nora. Well, meanwhile, xVoddka's got 2 fonts. He's deploying, he's got Cleric for more pot action. So whenever one of these guys dies, they're going to go back to the pot. Catastrophe can't really make any progress in mid, what he's got. And I mean, like, Geomancer can get a shockwave here, but like, who cares? He kills something, it goes back to the pot, right? And then, the kill is really going to help xVoddka more than it's going to hurt him, because he's going to get Grace of the Dead, he's going to get another Dark Favor and Unspeakable on everything. And, I don't know. Dragon Engine is a cool rune, but 15 Nora per mobilize, I could maybe see that going down to 10 with a small stat nerf. But yeah, like every mobilize, like you move this thing twice and he's already more expensive than like a Vothsayer Reaver, And he just doesn't bring enough to accommodate for that. Trample is kind of a dogshit ability on something without like insane mobility. And I mean, if you take multi-attack, you could potentially get a lot of use out of him, but I think maybe he needs to lose a bit of Nora. He needs to maybe gain +1 range. I know I ranted in the last video about how range is sort of like 1 to X range is being more dominant now, but Dragon Engine, maybe it kind of makes sense. So the Phalanx marker, a favorite of this here split, ISSL. I guess buffing everybody up for Battlemaster? It blocks his avatar out though. Like if he was planning to use his avatar for like combat purposes, it's stuck now. It literally stuck between the relics. So yeah, I like it can't even engage anything. It's just gonna get poked. Like you'd have to walk all the way around here. And he didn't even do anything with Dragon Engine this turn, and it just loses all its AP now. So I guess xVoddka, I mean, this could be a good turn for the Moby plus Reaper's Blade or Avatar Kill or something. I think just Moby in general, like if he has the Nora for it, then like he could Invig Circin. He could maybe even get a triple tap, right? Because he Invigs, then he Dictate Shrine. Okay, he's going. Never mind. He's going for the Frost Cone. Probably fine. Now the immunity fire does help versus the Warlock. But the Liches are still here. Why did he Frost Cone? Does he think he's going to get the Relic as well? I guess he can Firebomb, but Firebomb 2 is like 11, 12 damage. So he would get the Relic, but he wouldn't damage the Geomancer, and the Avatar is still pretty healthy. Draco Lich is nice, though. Funny enough, I lost a game, I almost lost a game to Draco Lich on this map. On a video I uploaded a couple weeks back where I forgot about Blockade because for whatever reason he has Blockade now. And but my opponent forgot about Final Word on Shadestalker. And I was thinking at the time that, man, I don't know, like this is the thing about the range changes. Range changes are one of the hardest things for me personally that I have to adapt to. Because when I see Draco Lich, I think, okay, this is a melee guy. Because for the longest time, he was always a fucking melee guy. He never had 2 range. Now that he does, and I'm like, okay, because I know how to play around a melee guy, but when a champion suddenly has his range altered, then it's like my brain just goes kaput, and I completely forget that, oh yeah, this guy can hit from 2 range if he wants now. And I waste AP engaging, or I don't use enough AP running away. So I don't know, that's a me problem. I recognize that well enough, but it's just annoying that every time it happens. So Catstrophe wisely chooses to back away with his avatar, after being hit with Debilitate, actually. And avatars, man, I wish avatars had auto-cleanse like they used to. Like, there's no reason avatars shouldn't cleanse themselves. Like, if the goal is to buff them and make them more useful, like in a combat situation, they should get that back. They should all get spell resistance, and they should all get purified. Those are the 2 big things that they should probably all have. Other than that, like, their abilities can be altered if Alakami wishes. I guess, like, here Catstrophe can kill this Lich, but Pot, so no point. Pot is like the solution to every lich's worries. Just keep smoking that good green gunk. The Geomancer is moving up. His Shockwave is on cooldown, so I'm curious as to what he's going to do here. Tremor? I mean, that's a fine Tremor, I guess. But he's just going to knock his... he's going to knock Sirkin out of attack range. Nope. Okay, he's not going to do that. What are you going to do, Geomancer? Just moving in for shits and giggles, basically. I wonder if he put, like... there's no way he put, like, an acid trap or something down here, right? There's no way. I mean, like, Catstrophe's pushing back. Like, he has the font, and there's a second Geomancer. Alright, not the best deploy. Why is he running 2 Geomancer and Constructs, of all things? I mean, they're good champs, it's just... they don't really contribute to the theme. I want to see Stone Colossus, man. I think Stone Colossus is a beast of a champion right now. Weighty, I mean, who cares? It's Stone Colossus, he has like 15 damage. He has Resist Physical, Hunter Walker, Shrinking, Crushing Blow. And, I mean, he just never dies. He's a big, tanky motherfucker that sits in your opponent's face. And he never dies. Like, Weighty, you can play around with Invig and shit, you know? You buff him up, you heal him. Love him. Love the guy. One of Alakami's smarter buffs, if you ask me. But like here, I just go for the avatar. I gotta say, like 55 HP. That's danger territory, you know. You can do like another Bazaar, I guess, because after the first one died, and then like you could give your High Warlock AP, and then Sirkin can exert or something as well. That's Vodka Shrine looking 63. Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, this Dragon Engine is just a sitting duck right now. So Sirkin actually does. He exerts and he retreats. I mean, if you can get the Geomancer kill, that'd be fine. Soulbane, yep, alright, there you go. I think I would have preferred the Protector kill if possible. Like, if he was going to go for the Soulbane. I guess he didn't have the, like, he had this Lich here still, though. 10, minus 3, there's 7. You could have Disease Breathed, actually, for the kill with that Soulbane, but I guess the Geomancer was, like, there, so why not kill it? So alright, let's see Dragon Engine do, let's see him put another 15 into Dragon Engine. See if it can do any work. And then I'm forgetting about Blockade again, aren't I? Okay, so Dragon Engine is like literally useless right now. See, it's like you can't, this is another thing with Dragon Engine, like if it gets distracted, if it gets CC'd in any way, if there's Blockade around, you can't do anything with it. Like, it's just a Nora Sync just sitting there, you know? I get that Mobilize is its gimmick, and that's sort of the counterplay, but, I mean, in a situation like this, it really hurts that you just can't move. You're just a guy. He's just sitting there. The dwarf at the wheel is just like, he's fallen asleep, dead drunk on the floor. So, I mean, like, High Warlock's gonna get some damage, but like Catstrophe has nothing. He does not win this late game. I kind of want to see Sirkin teleport into this font almost. Like just burn, dictate, and Shrine Exertion, move a billion spaces across the map, get in this font, And then like the avatar can't go back there. It's stuck. And the dog can't really go back there. But the Holy Blade of Valdak is going to get dropped. That doesn't cleanse, though. That only cleanses paladins. And Robodog is not a paladin. Samir should be a paladin. Come on, look at this guy. Okay, you realize that he dropped in the wrong way. So Vodka takes the game. Well played to both involved, and we'll see everyone in the next one.